Everyone says that solvers are ruining the game of poker, but they're not ruining poker, they're ruining your game. If you're struggling at low or mid stakes, it is not because you do not have a great understanding of GTO. It's because you're playing against players who have no clue what you're doing and you're playing a strategy that assumes that they do. Today I'm going to show you why GTO is completely irrelevant for the majority of games that you are playing. If you want an easier solution to play poker successfully, I'm going to have something absolutely free for you at the end of this video. My name's Rob Gardner. I've been playing poker professionally for over 20 years, and now I design poker courses to make the game easier to understand and easier to play for real players just like you. What got me into making poker courses is I had a lot of friends that were very frustrated after spending tons of money on training sites and private coaching, only to continue to struggle at a lot of entry-level games. I hear lots of complaining about how the golden era was back in pre-Black Friday and now poker is much harder because GTO Wizard and all of these other applications have come out and people have gotten better at the game. But as somebody that has enjoyed beating up on low and mid stakes for the majority of my career, let me tell you, there are a lot of really bad players still out there, and what you're being taught by GTO about those players is going to put you in a really bad spot. So let me give you 3 reasons that GTO is highly irrelevant for the games you're playing. Number 1, entry-level players have no concept of proper bet sizing. Every solve on the planet is going to work on this 33%, 66%, 100%, 125% pot bet sizes, as if everybody in the real poker world actually uses those sizes. Even worse, it tries to teach you to use those sizes on a very regular basis to keep your play disguised. But literally right now in 2025, in my poker sessions, I can shove for 2x pot with a nutted hand on the river and get called multiple times a session by weak top pair hands. These entry-level players simply do not understand the value of their hand or the difference between 75% pot and 200% pot. So learning to go to extremes with your large sizings can really make you a lot of money or chips early in tournaments. At the same time, the inverse is true. When you study GTO, you learn that the smaller someone bets, the more the opponent is supposed to call and the more the opponent is supposed to raise. But I still get away with highway robbery on a regular basis using really small bets. Not only do our opponents overfold to them, which is just printing money for us, they also under raise, which allows me to use really small bets very strategically to keep the pot small and also to prevent my opponent from putting their own bet sizes in, especially in situations where I have weaker hands or draws. 20% pot bets, 15% pot bets, 10% pot bets, even min bets can be used effectively in certain situations, and you're not going to learn anything about this in the solvers. Number 2, entry-level players have no concept of ranges. All these GTO solves are literally built on a database of optimal opening ranges and 3-bet ranges and 4-bet ranges, but we're playing with players that will sometimes just call a 30 big blind all in with 8-6 suited because think about how many times you've gotten ace king in against a really crappy hand and lost and then called your friend and bitched and moaned about it. But it's not just random punts, which are nice. You have opponents that are opening way too wide, they're opening way too tight, they're defending too loose, they're defending too tight. All of these mistakes add up and allow us to take advantage of our opponent's mistakes. And as we lean into those mistakes, we get to bet more hands for value or bet more hands for bluffs versus trying to play some equilibrium that doesn't really matter in these games. Having a simple thought process for how to attack players that are too tight and too loose can literally lead you to very easy and very profitable decisions without having to recall what partial frequency 9-8 suited is as a 3-bet from middle position versus an under the gun open at 80 big blinds effective. In fact, players are so bad at these stakes that you can even just play a very tight aggressive style and wait for really good hands and be profitable in 2025. You're not going to have a massive ROI because you're going to be subjected to the ebbs and flows of variance and card distribution, but even a tight aggressive style can win in 2025 because of how bad some of these punts are. And number 3, entry-level players have no concept of tournament life. The average entry-level player in 2025 plays tournaments completely backwards. They do not value their tournament life at all in the early stages of tournaments, and they value their tournament life way too much in the late stages of tournaments. And that means that 2 identical situations in terms of stack depth and flops and positions from early in a tournament to late in the tournament can have completely different strategies just based on how our opponents are treating their tournament life. By getting to cheap flops early in tournaments and hitting big hands and getting paid off, we can take advantage of a lot of our opponents' inability to value their tournament life in the early stages, especially in tournaments with rebuys or re-entries where some of these players will just fire 4, 5, 6 bullets very haphazardly. And in the late stages of tournaments, we really get to take advantage of the fact that they overvalue their tournament life by applying lots of pressure and being willing to take on some extra risk, especially when we're in the final 2 tables of tournaments. And in both of those situations, if you're applying a GTO approach to how you take advantage of those opponents, you are losing out on opportunities to accumulate chips. There is no slider in GTO Wizard for fear or lack of fear. Okay, if you are still watching this video at this point, you're probably like, Rob, I get it. You think GTO is not the answer. So what is the answer? What is your point? My point is this. If you want a long, successful career or a long, successful run where you are enjoying poker, you are winning on the regular, you're not hitting the deposit button every single week, you need a simple, easy to understand, easy to implement, and easy to execute thought process for how you play this game. You need a limited number of options at any point in a hand, and you need a limited number of variables to help you decide which option you're choosing. Nothing is more frustrating than busting in a big spot and spending the next 2 days agonizing over your decision and all of the little variables and trying to second guess everything you did. And for those of you that have experienced that, and most of you have, that is not a flaw in that moment and the decision you made. It's a flaw in the decision-making process that even allows you to have that many decisions to choose from. If you're not playing Tritons, if you're not playing WSOP 5Ks, if you're not playing high stakes online tournaments, you can whittle your thought process down to easy to make decisions where you can be very confident that the decision you're making is a profitable one. It doesn't mean that every profitable decision is going to work, but it does mean you can walk away knowing that if you were in that situation 100 times, you would win more than you would lose. So I promise you something free, and I'm going to give you something free, no strings attached. Remember my friends I told you about who have struggled in this game and spent lots of money? I wanted to create something better for them. So I spent almost 500 hours over the last 5 months building a poker course specifically catered to everyday people with families and jobs who don't have 20 hours a week to study. This 62 video course is made into 5 to 15 minute videos that are very easy to watch on a daily basis that will help you simplify your game and help you understand the concepts you need to play these games successfully. For absolutely free, I'm going to give you access to 10 of those videos today. The link is right down there in the description. Click it, watch those 10 videos, and get a feel for how I like to teach this game. And if you get anything out of those videos or you got anything out of this video, hit the subscribe button below so you can get notifications when my videos come out every week. I do regular tips daily on shorts, and I post weekly videos helping you enjoy this game more by playing a simpler strategy. Stop beating your head against the wall and having agonizing decisions in every session, and learn to play this game in a fun and profitable way.